2 from 2 over fences at Prestbury Park. The next stop for the real whacker will be the Cheltenham Festival. He's even been given a Gold Cup entry. Let's hear from the people that know him best.
I mean, we've all been involved in horses for years and years, and it's so hard to get a good one.
Yeah.
And I suppose, I won't say disappointment, but we've been involved in so many horses throughout the years, and you might get a winner if you're lucky and you don't get no more. But like to come along, and I think like we had him for maybe a year and a half before he reached the track. But to have a one that has come on so much in the last year and a half, and that has improved all the way he came along. And I think he's had 3 wins and a second in the last 14 months. It is unbelievable. It's like a dream come true, really.
And it, you know, it must be lovely for you to be doing it with Paddy, who's, I mean, you go back a good way, don't you?
40 years, I'd say. I could say I grew up with Paddy, but I grew up a little before Paddy. But we come back from a place called Ballysteen in Limerick in Ireland, and we both grew up there as young lads. It's just a small village.
So what did you think when he said, I'm going to go to England?
Well, you see, Paddy didn't say to me he was going to England. The truth is, Paddy rang me 2 weeks after he went to England and told me he was going to England. And I said, what did you do with my horse, the real whacker? And he says, he's over here with me. So I goes, he said, you'll enjoy it, you love coming, you love travelling, you love coming over, he said to me. So actually, I goes, you're probably right, that's cool.
It's a good job you trust him then.
I have to trust him. You'd always trust the neighbour's child.
Yeah. And he's done a remarkable job with him.
He's done
he rides him out every day.
He rides him out himself every day. He minds him. He's brought him to a standard, and he has brought him to, what should I say, a league that's beyond anyone's expectations. And I think in an interview, Paddy said at one stage that if he was in a bigger stable, he might get lost, you know, but he's in a stable that he gets massive attention, and I think it works.
Does that give you an edge, you think, that you ride him?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. It does, yeah. No, he's you know when he's in good form. I knew that going into the race the last day that he had improved from his first run on his work, you know.
So how do you know that?
Just give that feel. You give that feel. It's just, and I have lads right now for me, young lads there, I'd always turn around to them there and turn around. Well, did he give you a feel? They don't understand some of them what I mean, but I know by riding them myself that they either give you a feel or not.
In a piece of work, you can...
Well, in a piece of work or yeah, they're ornery, canter or whatever, yeah.
You'll just know.
Yeah.
And you knew going into the Dipper.
Well, I knew, yeah, he'd strengthened up a lot from his run and he was a lot sharper, and we worked him in a piece of work. He kind of half frightened me, to be honest. So, well, he didn't frighten me in a good way, you know.
Yeah.
But I knew he'd improved a good bit, yeah.
So, all right, take me through the Dipper then. He just dominated.
He did, yeah. We decided, I'll tell you, first time over fences, we went the first day, and Gavin Sheehan rode him. Gavin and myself get on great. He knows all the horses. He's very, very positive. And I like the way he rides them. He's positive, and a lot of the horses I run, they'd be front runners. And he made the running on the first day over fences. And sure, he was only getting into at the end. He was only... So
he made the running because you wanted to, because Gavin thought that was the best thing for him?
Well, I said I had him well schooled over fences. He was always going to be a better chaser than a hurdler. So there was 5 in the race on the first day, and there was 2 that had experience over fences. And we said we'd let him roll and not to be holding him up, you know, let him use his jumping. And that's what he got into a rhythm. And then the second day, we said we were a little bit worried about the trip, that we were taking on a Grade 1 horse, a couple of other horses that had the bit of speed where we'd have stamina. And so we decided we'd make it a good test and use his jumping. So Sam done exactly that, and it worked out great, yeah.
I spoke to Sam Twiston-Davis in the parade ring before the race, and Sam seemed to be very confident with him, and Paddy was confident, and Sam said he had spoken to Gavin Sheehan earlier on that morning, and that they all thought he was great. But I mean, I just looked at what he was up against, which was like Paul Nicholson, Nicky Henderson, you know, Grade 1 winners, and I just couldn't see it happening. But I mean, the whacker is the whacker, and he led from the front, and he decided they weren't going to catch him. And that's the way it went, thank God.
When he jumped the arse, you must have been...
I was in the centre of the parade ring, and I wasn't even speaking, and I wasn't shouting or roaring or anything. And I just seen him jump in the last, and I thought at any stage that Paul Nicholson was going to catch him. But then I see him pulling away again, and I said, you know, he's not. I started roaring. So then they knew who owned the horse.
What was the buzz like with all of you? Was it just
Sure, it was
one of the great
unreal.
days?
It was just one of those dreams come true. I mean, is this after happening? Like, am I after having another winner in Cheltenham? One of the most famous national hunt tracks in the world, like, you know, and it was just... Words wouldn't describe the buzz.
Why are you not likely to run him again until the festival?
He's a big light frame of a horse, and I just don't want to over race him. And he's just a big light frame of a horse. You just want to tip away with him this year, you know. And I think if we'll go straight to Cheltenham with him.
Okay. Why does he have a Gold Cup entry?
He won on the Sunday, and the entry's closed on the Tuesday, I think, the following Tuesday. So, you know, we're dreaming.
But is it?
Sure.
You don't make the entry unless it's at the sort of back left-hand corner of your mind, right?
It's just a Gold Cup. I think it's wide open this year.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, it's a very good Gold Cup, but it's not going to be. There's 27 entries in it. We're one of them. Looking at a lot of them, there's a few out already, and there's a few in it that's ground dependent. And we have a lad that's improving. I know he's young, and but he wouldn't be the first novice to Coney Gree. I think won it as a novice.
He did.
And trip-wise, we know he's going to get the trip, and we know he loves the track. And sure, why not?
So it's a possibility.
It's a possibility,
right?
yeah.
Nothing more. The likely is the 3 mile novice.
Is the Brown advisory, yeah. Okay. More than likely, but we'll just wait and see, because the ground it's going to break up. There's a lot of them in it that are looking for good ground, and if the ground goes soft, it's wide open again, you know.
Yeah. I'm starting to think, you know, I guess half of the people look at Real Whacker's been entered for the Gold Cup and they go, Paddy's mad. But they might just be going, Paddy's a genius. Do you know what I mean? Depending on what rocks up, what ground comes on the day.
There's no genius about it. It's a dream stuff. Like to have a runner in the Gold Cup. Not to mind, we don't know. He's progressing. If he progresses and keeps, sure.
So you have pubs back home, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So it's got to be one of those stories. Obviously, you'll be in Cheltenham when the horse is running, in whichever race he's running in. But the pubs better be full back home.
Oh yeah, please God, you know, that's the way it goes. But then it costs you a lot of money when you go back, because you got to buy a load of drink.
That's true.
But yeah, everyone is rooting, and I mean, everyone just loves Cheltenham and loves to have a winner in Cheltenham, and it's so big, it's unbelievable. So yeah, they'd be rooting for me back home all the time.
Subscribe to Racing TV's YouTube channel now to watch more great races like this.